We had a big old meeting this week.
And?
Negotiations are in process.
To get things moving?
In hopes of getting it moving, because it has not been moving at all. Both sides are kind of getting, frustrated, but I know us players are holding our ground, so it should be interesting. At the end of the day, depending on where these negotiations go, like if you give these players what they want, you're going to get all the best players. Therefore, you're going to win. Therefore, your ticket sales are going to be up. Everything's going to be up.
But that's what these negotiations are, is finding where that middle is. Yeah.
It sucks because it's like how our negotiation, how that's going. It's like we're the laughing stock of sports right now.
Laughter erupted in the WNBA owners' meeting room, sharp and unfiltered. Players demanded 30% of league revenue before a single expense was paid. Owners saw it as a punchline from a league that's bled money for 28 straight years. This isn't just a contract squabble, it's a full-blown crisis threatening to derail the entire 2026 season, exposing deep fractures in women's professional basketball that could shatter the momentum built by stars like Caitlin Clark. The Women's National Basketball Association, or WNBA, has been around since 1996, but it's never turned a profit, not once. For nearly 3 decades, it's operated at a loss, propped up by subsidies from the NBA, its more successful sibling league. Think of it like a family business where the big brother keeps bailing out the little sister year after year because folding isn't an option. The NBA covers costs, negotiates media deals, and essentially keeps the lights on. Without that support, the WNBA would likely cease to exist, just like any other business hemorrhaging cash for 30 years straight. Yet here we are in early 2026 with players pushing for massive pay increases and perks that rival those in profitable leagues like the NFL or NBA. It's a bold move, but one that's met with radio silence from the league, highlighting a standoff that's as absurd as it is dangerous. The heart of this drama is the collective bargaining agreement, or CBA, which is basically the rule book for how players get paid, what benefits they receive, and how the league operates. The current deal was signed in 2020, but players opted out in October 2023, more than 2 years ago. They released a hype video declaring, "We deserve more," and set the stage for negotiations. The opt-out officially kicked in on January 9th, 2025, leading to what's called a status quo period, where the old rules stay in place until a new deal is reached.
Well, this past weekend was the WNBA All-Star Weekend, where the players had a message for their employers. TV viewership of WNBA games is up 23% from last year. Attendance and merchandise sales are also up. A new media rights deal valued at $2.2 billion kicks in next year, a significant increase from the previous agreement. Salaries range from $66,000 to just less than $250,000. Talks between the league and players are ongoing to replace the collective bargaining agreement.
But instead of progress, we've got a deadlock. The WNBA Players Association submitted their latest proposal in January 2025, and the league hasn't bothered to respond. Not a counteroffer, not even a polite rejection, just silence. League officials say the proposal isn't different enough from previous ones to warrant discussion. It's like asking your boss for a raise, getting ignored, then asking again with the same pitch and expecting a different outcome. What's in this proposal that's so outrageous? The big sticker is revenue sharing. Players want 30% of gross league revenue, meaning before any bills are paid, gross revenue is the total money coming in from tickets, TV deals, merchandise, and sponsorships. In a league that's never profitable, this means splitting money that often doesn't cover costs. The WNBA brings in around $100 million annually, but spends about $130 million, resulting in a $30 million loss each year. Asking for 30% of the gross, potentially $30 million or more, ignores those losses entirely. Owners have countered with 70% of net revenue, which is what's left after expenses. But since net revenue is often zero or negative, that offer essentially means nothing to split. It's a generous-sounding proposal that highlights the league's financial reality. There's no profit pie to divide. This isn't abstract economics, it's real money affecting real people. Top players like Aja Wilson or Brianna Stewart earn 6-figure salaries, but the average is around $100,000, and rookies or bench players make far less, sometimes as low as $60,000. That's decent, but not life-changing, especially when you factor in short careers. WNBA seasons are only about 4 months long. So many players supplement income by playing overseas in the offseason. The union argues that with rising viewership, especially since Caitlin Clark entered the league in 2024, players deserve a bigger cut. Clark, the Indiana Fever guard, has been a game changer. Her games draw millions of viewers, sell out arenas, and boost merchandise sales. In 2024 and 2025, attendance spiked by over 50% in some markets, and TV ratings hit records. Players feel emboldened, saying 2 years of solid metrics prove their value. As Nafisa Collier, a key union voice, told ESPN, 30% represents our value and is not too much. But owners point out that this growth is largely tied to one player, not the league as a whole. Without Clark, would the numbers hold? History suggests no. Past stars like Lisa Leslie or Diana Taurasi brought temporary boosts, but nothing sustained. Dig deeper and the demands extend beyond on money. Housing is a hot button issue. Players want guaranteed full season housing for everyone, no matter their salary. This means the league would pay for apartments or homes year round. Compare that to other pro leagues. The NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB, and MLS don't provide this. Even the National Women's Soccer League is phasing it out by 2027, expecting athletes to handle their own living arrangements with their paychecks. The WNBA has offered compromises like housing for players on non-guaranteed contracts, those at risk of being cut, or in pricey cities where low salaries don't stretch far. That seems fair. If you're earning $200,000, you can afford rent. If you're on a training camp deal making $30,000, help makes sense. But the union insists on it for all, painting players as needing extra support despite being professionals. This stance raises eyebrows, suggesting a view that WNBA athletes aren't on par with their male counterparts in financial independence. The timeline adds urgency. The 2026 season tips off on May 8th, but before that, critical events must happen. A 2-team expansion draft for new franchises in Portland and Toronto, signing over 100 free agents, and placing the 2026 draft class. None of this can proceed without a CBA. If talks drag on, we could see a work stoppage, a lockout or strike that delays or cancels the season. Players would lose paychecks and the league could lose fans. Casual viewers drawn in by Clark's hype might tune out if games vanish. Die-hard fans stick around, but mainstream momentum evaporates fast. Remember the 2011 NBA lockout? It shortened the season and hurt ratings initially. For the WNBA, still building its audience, a stoppage could be devastating. Why the impasse? Trust is shattered. Back in 2020, negotiations were collaborative. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert and union leaders posed for photos praising unity, but since then, things soured. The COVID-19 pandemic wrecked the 2020 bubble season. Player activism, like the push that led to the Atlanta Dream's ownership change in 2021, showed growing assertiveness. A 2022 capital raise brought in new investors, complicating decisions. Then Clark arrived, exploding interest, but also highlighting disparities. Players publicly called out Engelbert. Collier did so in her 2025 exit interview, accusing the league of undervaluing them. This public discord signals a broken relationship where players doubt the league negotiates fairly. Owners hold the cards because of the NBA lifeline. The WNBA isn't self-sustaining. Media rights deals worth about $60 million a year starting in 2025 are bundled with NBA packages. Broadcasters like ESPN pay for both, but the WNBA's portion is tiny. Without NBA leverage, those deals might not exist. Owners, many of whom are NBA team owners, see the WNBA as a social good promoting women's sports but not a cash cow. They've subsidized losses averaging $10 to $15 million annually, sometimes more. As one analyst put it, it's like giving allowance to a kid who blows it at the arcade, then asking for more. Players counter that investments in marketing and infrastructure could flip the script, but owners want proof of profitability first. This negotiation echoes other sports labor battles, but with a twist. In the UFC, fighters demand better pay from a profitable promotion, and it makes sense. UFC rakes in billions. The NFL hands out massive contracts because the league generates $10 to $15 billion yearly. But in a money-losing venture, demands for top-tier splits feel disconnected. Players wear "pay us what we're worth" t-shirts, but worth is measured by revenue generated minus costs. If you're negative $30 million, that's your current value. Harsh? Yes, but it's business math. The shocking part is how close this is to collapse. If players don't budge, owners can wait. They've lost money for decades. One more year won't break them, but players have a narrow window. Clark's impact might fade if overexposed or if injuries hit. 2 years of growth could regress without games. A strike would hit players hardest. No salaries, overseas gigs disrupted, careers shortened. Owners might even threaten to fold teams or the league, though that's unlikely given PR fallout. Still, the leverage imbalance is stark. The WNBA needs players to play, but players need the platform more, especially with limited alternatives. Paths forward exist, per ESPN reports: compromise on revenue, maybe tiered sharing where players get a cut once profits hit certain thresholds. On housing, meet in the middle with targeted aid, expand benefits like charter flights, already improved, or pensions, but it requires give and take. One player told ESPN, compromise is literally what negotiation is. Yet proposals show owners offering more each time, higher salaries, better perks, while players stick to 30% gross. That's not bargaining, it's an ultimatum without muscle. In the end, this saga reveals uncomfortable truths. The WNBA's survival hinges on NBA charity, not market forces. Players, empowered by recent buzz, risk overplaying their hand. Owners, guardians of the checkbook, demand realism. If no deal by spring, 2026 could be a lost season, squandering the Clark era's gifts. Fans lose out, women's sports stalls, and a league on the cusp of breakthrough retreats. Who's right? Players chase deserved equity, owners guard viability, but math doesn't lie. Build profits, then split them. Until then, laughter might turn to silence and silence to shutdown.